So yeah, October, solid 4 months after my Overland Expo tour and all the little things I did to get ready for that. And I'm kind of glad, actually I'm really glad I was able to put, I don't know, God, this year I think I've put almost 10,000 miles on the rig before things have been finished. My daughter and I traveled in January across country and down south, and that was a 4,000 plus mile trip. And I've taken a bunch of other trips, and I've kind of figured out a bunch of things that I'm either going to change or modify or whatever. And that's what this video is about, kind of the beta test results on the Expedition vehicle. And the first one, let's see if I can show you guys. I'll talk about it here in a little bit. But the first one, so when these slide out rooms go in, they have to go in far enough, and I have to make sure that they go in far enough that that little gap right there is enough to come over this without rubbing on this guy or this guy. And you can see at some point, and it just, I can feel that this is just a scuff mark, and that's just a scuff mark. So it really didn't do any damage to the window, but it did come down and rub on the window. And basically what that was from was I have a shim on the top of this wall on the inside, and that keeps the roof from moving, you know, whichever way, and it keeps it pretty aligned. It's done a great job. But since I've put almost 10,000 miles on this thing, things have moved a little bit, and the roof actually cantered a little bit, and the bottom kind of moved in. And I came out one day, I was parked, and I noticed the roof was actually hitting right here. So what I had to do, because the gap went from basically ½ an inch, and by the time it got down here, where we at, right here, it was less than ¼ inch. And by the time the little slight bow that was in the wall, and it's minute, or while it just shimmied down the road, it made a mark on the roof. So my solution was just a little shim like this. I threw some duct tape on it. It was a last minute deal, and it worked great. It was enough to keep this aligned out when it came down, and then keep everything off of the rig down at that end. So that has led me to one of the decisions, which I'll talk about here in a second, and I'll go over a bunch of the other ones that I'm going to be addressing hopefully this week and into next week. And I'll be making a video of the changes and how everything went. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. Up next. Well, it's been a while too. I think just over 4 months. A lot has happened. Not much on the rig. I've been busy at work. My dad was in the hospital. My sister was in the hospital. I've taken a couple trips, so I've gotten to use the rig, but I have not really worked on the rig. So it's pretty much in the same shape as when I left 4 months ago. However, in using the rig, I have figured out a few things that I need to either change or modify because of whatever reason. I'll show you a couple of the main ones. As I approach finishing this, it's going to get harder and harder to change things. So in its unfinished state, it's been kind of nice being able to use the rig and figure out what's going on. So we'll do a quick walk around. Bathroom, still using it, works out great. Super happy with the way everything's working. No issues. I've got to put a little shim here between this wall and this wall, so when it comes down, and this one, so it doesn't rub like that. I have to finish trim in there, finish the one wall. The Tesla batteries, which are still hidden, and the inverters and solar charger have worked out flawlessly, and I mean flawlessly. I was actually at a country concert, Seven Peaks, and one of my buddies did not have power, so he plugged in his rig and ran his AC off of my rig, one of my outlets, while I was running everything in my rig, and I had enough solar coming in to power everything and still charge the batteries a little bit. Sorry, the color controller, the batteries, everything, the solar panels has worked out great. Couch, I've had I have put some dishes and stuff down below to kind of keep things out of the way and be able to use them. Cabinets are still not in use because I have not finished them. What else? I have my bar stool at my table, which is also my office, which has worked out great. There's my office computer. Bedroom. What else? Second electrical panel has worked out great for the jacks to lift up the rig, and the jacks for the roof. And talking about the jacks for the roof, so they have worked out great. I had one, I think the left side here, the passenger side stick, that just came on for no reason when I kicked the power on one day, and the roof kind of went cockeyed. But that's happened once. So what I did figure out, and I'll take you outside. Oh, while I'm out here, so the slide outs have worked out fantastic. I do have a little wear on the bottom side of all of them where the rollers on the inside are hitting, with the exception of one spot, and that's that spot. And you can see, it's a little dark, the roller is rubbing, stops right there, and it's actually gouging. I missed my stud, which is right here. The roller's off by about 1.5 inches, and it's actually cut into the aluminum. So A, I have to move the roller and come up with a better plan, and B, I need to put a better solid surface on the bottom of the slide out, which I intended on doing at some point. The rollers just got the better of me sooner than later. So that being said, the other thing with the slide outs is as they come out into the rig, or as they close up and come into the rig, they kind of cantilever on the support on the outside, and the rollers, which you can see there's a roller right there, there's one here, there's one down there. Where's that little sucker? Right there's the other one. And those hold the slide out up as it goes in and out, but as it comes all the way in, now the outside edge is, you know, basically 4 inches from that roller, so it kind of tilts like this. So originally I had rollers, let's see, stuck to this, and they were rolling on the floor, and they would hold it up as it came in. But a couple things, the rollers tend to leave marks on the floor, and the other problem is as the slide outs come in towards the bed and towards the bed on that side, the water tank, the wheels actually stuck out just a hair too far and would hit the structure for the water tank and bed. So what I've come up with, long story short, is this high density plastic, and this is a 1/2 inch strip that they cut for me at 2 inches wide. And basically what I'm gonna do is replace these guys. So I've got, in every corner I have these guys, same kind of thing. This is a Teflon wear guide, and this does a great job of keeping the gap at this point. But again, as this part of the roof goes all the way down, now it has the ability to do this. So all I'm gonna do is, once I finish the walls out on the inside, this is getting screwed into the corner there, and that will guide me down on the aluminum on the outside. So that will be my roof guide. And then another piece of HDPE, this is essentially the same thing as Teflon. It's a little different different material, different makeup, but the wear ability of this, the durability of it is pretty high. And so what I'm going to do is basically take a strip of this HDPE, shove it underneath, and then the slide will actually, and it's going to be the full length of the slide out, and I'll do this on both sides. And the bottom of the slide out will actually ride on that. And the only issue I'm going to have is when that edge of the slide out gets all the way out here and it can kind of canter, I'm going to have to figure out something over on this edge for it to kind of slide onto. And I haven't quite figured that out yet. But I think I'll have another piece of HDPE, maybe a 4-inch piece that flips into place. Like I store it someplace and I just drop it down, and this comes over, and this will support this bottom edge as I travel. I have replaced the floor all the way down, and you can see the shims are setting in place, and I have the shims on this side, and that's basically not like that, like that down there, is how they're going in. All I did was shove them in to kind of hold the floor down while the glue dried. It is currently cooled off a little bit, 79. It was 83, I think, today. We have a cold front coming in with some snow. And the low, let's see, it's Wednesday now. The low tomorrow night is going to be 19 or 17. So it's going to go from 83 degrees today, or 82, whatever it hit, to 17 within 24 hours, or maybe 30 hours. But nonetheless, holy crap. And we're getting 2 to 4 inches of snow, and is just past the first week of October. Crazy. So I can't throw any more glue down because I don't want to put anything on the floor that needs to dry in 17-degree temps, because it won't. So that's where I'm at. There's the update.